All right, so in 3.5, these are things that you've already done as far as graphing. So in 3.132, we looked at graphing equations in, what is that form? You remember? Standard form. There you go. And the way I showed you to graph those is, of course, to plot your x and y intercept. You just set the x equal to that number, set your y term equal to that number, so on. Let me jump back up. Remember, for inequalities, when you graph them, and this is what actually several people on that last test, or the test, unit 1 test where you had to graph inequalities, people would forget to shade and do a solid or dotted line. So remember that if you have the equality part or the bar underneath, that's a solid line. If you just have greater than or less than, that's a dotted. And then, of course, to pick or to know where you actually shade, you pick points and test them in your inequality or equation. But, all right, going back, you've got standard form that you may see. You also have the good old y equals mx plus b. Have you guys seen that one a lot?
Yes.
I figured so.
We have a whole song from town.
Oh, do you?
You remember in the dance?
Oh, and you also have a dance that goes with it?
I was a song for every class. Yeah. We had songs for like history, elementary songs. Yes.
Did it come? Well.
We just made them up.
Oh, did you?
What are the lines you do?
I used to actually like give extra credit. I would let kids like come up with raps and things like that for like whatever we were studying at the time. So maybe since you guys, you know.
We didn't make them, our friends did, and they made us do them. It was like the YMCA.
Oh, okay. I think I've seen that before. One of my former students the other day tagged me in a meme that has y equals mx plus b. He said, still another day that I haven't used y equals mx plus b in my life. Like he's already out of college. All right, and then this last form is, remember your absolute value and your vertex. Absolute value that's in vertex form. And this was the section 2.3. Some of us were saying that the notes wouldn't work for that. So hopefully today you'll get another lesson on it if you didn't feel too confident in it when you did it. All right, what I'm telling you about I think we're okay on standard form and y equals mx plus b, so I'm going to focus in on this part. This is when your a, or the number in front, is positive, and this is what you do in that case. And I've also shown you down here what you do in case it's negative, but let's focus on the positive part. This is how you graph one in this form. Your vertex, or the point where your graph comes to a V, is HK. You do the opposite of what's with X, and K stays the same. So if I've got X minus 2, you would simply put 2 for H. And then how you get your right side and left side of your graph, if A is positive, to the right of your vertex, you're going to use the positive slope. So this is your slope that they're giving you. And to the right of the vertex, I would use the positive version of it to get points on that side. To the left, I would use the negative version of it to get points there. So when you have a positive number in front, use the positive slope on the right side, use the negative slope on the left side. So it is what you think. Positive we would associate with right, negative left. Vertex HK. Do y'all have that down? Can I go? Okay, let me go to the bottom. Okay, when it's negative, when you have a negative number out front, it, of course, your graph should be upside down. And then it flips all of this around. So on the right side, I actually use the negative slope. Whatever number's there, I'm going to use the negative slope to get my points. Vertex is still HK. Left side, you would use the positive slope to get points. All right, here's your steps to graph all of these systems of inequalities. The first, you graph each equation, and then you shade in a different color for each if you want to do that. Graph each, shade its solution. Then where the solutions all overlap is your solution for your system of equations. So we're not actually going to be writing our answer as an ordered pair, an ordered triple. All you're going to do is graph these, shade each, and then wherever they overlap, I mean, you just leave it. Like your graph is your answer. If they don't, like if they don't ever overlap in shading, what would you say? No solution. So that's what it's going to look like. So you'll have a good visual for that in these problems. So if they don't overlap at all, no solution. All right, everybody got that down? All right. This is number 1 from your notes. If you're following along, I am going to change it up slightly. It comes out to have decimals in it, so I don't want mine to have decimals or fractions. Or do y'all want to deal with fractions? No, I didn't think so. All right, number 1, solve each system. So this one has y less than or equal to 3x plus 1. And your second equation is negative 6x plus 2y greater than 10. Change it to 12. I think, well, okay, let me knock on wood, because sometimes when I say that, students are like, you said it's going to be easier. So we'll see how you feel. I'll let you make your decision about it. Okay, let's focus on the first one. How would you graph that top one? Good. I'm gonna put a point at 1 on the y-axis. And then you're going to use your slope of positive 3. So go up 3 to the right 1, up 3 to the right 1. Now, should you, and of course you can reverse it to get some points down here, go down 3 to the left 1. Do you graph a dotted or a solid line? Solid. And draw your lines spanning across your coordinate plane so that you can, so when we shade in a minute, you can see it easily. Okay, where would you shade? Where? Yes, to the right or down. That is where we're going to shade. And I'll show you an easy way to look at that. When y is solved for, Those are the easiest to know where to shade. You really don't even have to pick a point and plug in. Where is, like, all you have to do is think, where is y less than my graph? Well, all the y's are less than your graph in this region. Does that make sense? Okay, or in relation to the line, is less than going to be above or to the left, or is it going to be like below to the right? Where are your y's less than 3x plus 1? Are they less than up here on the y-axis or down here? Down. But when you said to the right, it's still correct. Are you confused, or does that make sense?
No, I understand it, but
Yeah, so you would shade in that area. Okay, let's graph this, the bottom equation. This is in standard form. So I'm going to get my x-intercept by taking negative 6x, setting it equal to 12. Get my y-intercept, which you can do this, of course, mental math. You don't have to show any work. What's your x-intercept? Good. And your y-intercept? 6. So to graph this line, put a point on the x-axis at -2. Put a point on the y-axis at 6. Is this a solid or a dotted line? Dotted. You have done this in Algebra 1. Probably been a while. Okay, where would you shade in relation to the red line? All right, you would shade above. You have to be more careful here because y is not solved for. So you can't just look at the symbol. But I could always plug in a point. Like I can plug in the origin. The origin's on this side of that red line. So if I plug in like 0 for x, 0 for y, you're going to get 0 greater than 12. And we know, of course, that's false. So since I plugged in the origin and it's in this region and it did not work, then I actually shade in the other region. Okay, does anyone have any questions so far? Okay, what would their solution be? Or do they have a solution? Good, they do not. So in this case, all you do is say no solution. If they overlap anywhere, you don't have to say anything. Like if they overlap, you just leave your graph in that area. So no solution. Okay, this next problem is from number 4 in your notes. We have y greater than x minus 1 plus 1. y less than or equal to negative and an absolute value of x minus 3 plus 4. Okay, tell me what this graph will look like. Will it be an upright V or will it be flipped? Will it be up or down? It will be up. Why? Good. There's a plus sign. I mean, that's a positive 1 understood to be in front. So it's positive. This one will be down. Good. This one will be flipped. So when we graph both of those, I know I should have one V going up, one V flipped down. This will be solid or dotted? Good. And that will be dotted. And then this bottom one will be solid. All right, let's look at this one in green. You don't have to rewrite it. What is your vertex? Good. You do the opposite of the number with x, and then you keep that number the same. So vertex is 1, 1. You can go ahead and plot that. And then, since I have a positive number in front, you're going to use the positive slope on which side of the vertex? Do I use positive slope on the right side or the left? Since it's positive, it is what you think. We're going to use the positive slope on the right side and negative slope on the left side. What is your slope in that equation or inequality? Good. It's just going to be 1. I don't know why I make my 1s different. I'm sure you guys have already noticed that looking. I kind of make them, and my 2s sometimes. All right, anyway. So to the right of this point, I'm going to use positive 1 slope. Just get a few points. It doesn't matter. And then, of course, we're going to use the negative version. So up 1 to left 1, and so on. And we said this should be dotted. Where would you shade? Y solved for, so where would we shade? Greater is going to be above it. Good. Okay, for the purple graph, what would your vertex be? Good, your vertex is going to be 3, 4. And we've already said this graph should be flipped down because we have a negative. So it reverses this. What is your slope? Good, your slope is 1 or negative 1. And on the right side, we're actually going to use a slope of negative 1. To the left, that's where you're going to use the positive 1 slope. All right, maybe we should have waited to shade until after we graph this one. 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have a point there. So 3, 4, and then you slope and positive 1 to the left, and then negative 1. These lines should be what? solid. Is that right? 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, y was solved for in your inequality. Did you have less than or did you have greater than? You had less, so where do you shade? Good, you shade underneath it. Where do they overlap? They only overlap here in that area. Do y'all see that? I don't think highlighting it did any good at all. But anyway, this is the region where they overlap. Wow, that makes it look so much different. Okay, how do y'all feel about this? Pretty good? Do y'all think it's any easier though than?
Yes.
Maybe, maybe not. Or would you rather, or would you rather have algebra all day? Some people would much rather, no matter what, have algebraic problems. They'd be like, yes, give me algebra. I hate graphing. Yeah. Pretty much. I mean, we just did to me, the hardest one is the absolute value. Both of them. Oh, what?
I don't like absolute value.
I know. All right, one more and then we'll call it a day. I'll let you work on your assignment. This is number 5 in your notes. We have y is less than or equal to x. Y is less than or equal to -2. X is, what'd y'all say? This one's actually kind of easy, so it won't be too bad anyway. I won't say it's easy, it won't be too bad. I know, that's what I always get to you. Everybody's like, well, hey, you've been doing this for nobody. All right, for the top equation, it's y less than or equal to x. What form is that? It is y equals mx plus b, but what's b? Good. If you'll get familiar with that line y equals x, it's really easy to graph it. Like it starts at the origin, of course, because that's your y-intercept, or it passes through the origin. Is it going to be solid or dotted?
Solid, all of them.
Good. All of them are going to be solid. Okay, so we got that point, and then it has a slope of 1. And we said it is solid. Y equals x is actually called an identity graph. You don't have to know that, but it goes to the origin, up 1, right 1.
No, we don't have to shade.
Yes. It's y is less than, so where are you going to shade this graph? Good, you're going to shade it underneath. I may wait to shade till after I get them all graphed, but you can go ahead and shade if you want to. All right, y is less than or equal to -2. What type of line is y equals a number. What type of graph, or what will that graph look like? Y equals a number. Good. It is a horizontal line. So it's going to be a horizontal line through the y-axis at -2, and we said it is solid. Yes. And then x equals 3. What type of line is that? That is a vertical line. Okay, where did we shade in relation to the pink graph? Like the y equals less than or equal to x. You said we shaded where? Good, we shaded down or to the right of that graph. And then in relation to the orange graph, the y is less than or equal to -2, we also shade below. And then last but not least, the red graph where x is less than or equal to -3, do you shade to the left or to the right? Good. Well, treat it like a number line, of course. This is good. You shade it to the left, if I can get that out. Shade it to the left. So where do they overlap?
In the middle.
In the middle. That's right, they do. No, I did not mean to draw that all the way down. This is where they overlap. All right. So just that part in the middle. Are you guys, is everybody okay?
I know how to do it.
All right, do y'all have any questions? Any
Wait,
questions?
how is that? That doesn't make sense. Because there's no orange.
Wait. Okay, maybe I was right initially. Yeah, I was, wasn't I? God damn it. I know. It would be here, all the way down through that area. I should have blotted out this area. Thanks, Carly. Okay. That should be the area. Below the orange, to the right of the red, and then below the pink. You don't have to color in the area that they just be able to tell. Like if I ask you, which I didn't give you any problems like this, but well, on your 3-5, I think it does ask, is like the point -1, -4 a solution? So you just plug in that point into all of your inequalities and see if it works. But if it's in that shaded area, it will work where they overlap. All right. You have a lot more graphs for you in your notes, like in case you need some extra examples. I did a lot. Okay, I'll let you guys work on your 3-5, and then the word problems. Do y'all have questions about those? Okay, we can go over any, I actually have 1 through 5. Hey, if y'all see anybody pop into the waiting room and then I don't admit them, like, yell at me. Say, hey, I need to let that person in. Because I think earlier in A2, somebody joined late and I didn't see it. They never were in the meeting. That's all fine. Yes. All right, tell me which one on